for the Super Bowl 59 early predictions. I'm Riggs Tamburo. That is Jalen Jackson. Hope everybody is doing well out there. I know we got to wait like 2 weeks for this game, but Jalen, we got to get the people some early picks on some props, on some score predictions, obviously the line, the total, the spread. It's all going to move a little bit here between now and about 10 days from now. So with no further ado, jumping on in here, Eagles representing the NFC, Chiefs representing the AFC. Chiefs come into this game a 1.5-point favorite at the moment here. Eagles, obviously, at the moment are coming in a 1.5-point dog, but it's very, very close here, obviously. Kind of a rematch of the Super Bowl from, 2 years ago? So with all that said, how you feeling about this matchup? Which team right now do you think deserves to be favored in this game?
Yeah, man, I mean, thinking about the Super Bowl 2 years ago, you think about it like which of these teams has continued to improve vastly and which of these teams is kind of the same as they were back then, which is obviously still a great team. Like they're in the Super Bowl regardless. When I think about it, the Eagles' run game, this is obviously a no-brainer, but has improved tremendously. And, now that you got Saquon back there as a guy who, I mean, could have been named MVP if it wasn't such a quarterback-heavy, award that's given out. But the offense now is so dynamic, and I would almost label them unstoppable. Like, when you get these guys going in the run game, and it makes linebackers, start pressing the line, and that play action pass starts to open up. Even get Saquon involved in the passing game, then these guys are just so hard to stop, man. And I mean, AJ is going to get his. Devonta always seems to get his somehow. Goddard gets involved, and it's just like, how can you find a way? If there's anybody that's going to be able to find a way to stop him, it's going to be Sark over there, DC in Kansas City. But when I looked at that game, I just watched the highlights of it a couple of days ago, and it was such a close game. And you just think, like, most of that game, the Eagles are trying to stay, within a score, or they're tied and then they're down and then they're coming back again and they're airing the ball out. I think if they can find a way to get up early in this one, or even keep it, tied up instead of always having to climb back up the scoreboard, they're gonna be a tough team to stop. I mean, the Chiefs are going to get their points, obviously, but when I just think about this run game and I think about how dynamic they are, moving the football with still a really good defense, rushing the quarterback, and if they can find a way to keep Pat in the pocket, like we just talked about it last week, when that dude starts to use his legs, that's when you're going to get burnt, and that's exactly what happened last week. I mean, you have everybody covered up, and he just seems to slip and slide his way out and scamper for 10, 20, 30 yards, and then before you know it, they're in field goal range, and it's like, well, damn. Like, if the Eagles can find a way to get consistent pressure and make sure that they stay balanced with the run game and not get down to where they're having to air the ball out so much, then I think they're going to be in good shape to win this one.
I'm right there with you, and I love that you brought up Mahomes running the football, and I know that when we get to these player props here in just a minute, I know we got a couple people who are liking Mahomes here in this one, but I will say there's something about this game. We're talking about running the football. Let's just, we can't just walk over what James Cook just did. I mean, what James Cook just did to this defense, bro, if I'm Saquon Barkley, I'm licking my chops right now. I'm feeling real good about this matchup right now, because what doesn't make sense is the Bills, 2-point conversions. Where'd James Cook go? Final drive of the game. Where'd James Cook go? Why? It's like it worked for you all game. You talked about it. Back and forth game. It was really close throughout. And then it was like right when you need the guy, he's not on the field. Right when you need him to be a decoy, he's not on the field. It doesn't make sense. The Eagles are not going to play that way. They're not going to make that mistake. The one thing the Chiefs did really, really good, which I have to give them a little bit of credit for it, was stop that tush push with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, not a quarterback that's easy to just stop in his tracks, which, to be fair, he got the first down on the big one. You know he did, but whatever. We'll let that one go. It's over now. But here's the question for you. Can the Chiefs stop the Eagles' tush push, or do you think that it's just on a completely different level than what the Bills were doing?
Oh, it's on a different level. I mean, the NFL had to consider banning this play because it is so successful for these dudes. Like when you take that into perspective and you really watch these guys, I mean, the success rate on it is 90% plus. Like very few and the few times that it's gotten stopped, there's been a fumbled snap. There's been, you know what I'm saying, something happens where a guy jumps early and then it doesn't work out, even if it's not called on a false start. If it's smooth like it is 98% of the time, they're going to convert it 95% of the time. And going back to the Bills and their tush push, Josh Allen, they don't do it the same. I mean, even if you watch it, Josh Allen likes to kind of surf over the guard, and he'll take a false step to the left, and then he'll try to surf over the guard. Eagles don't play that, bro. The Eagles are going to go straight downhill. Dallas Goedert's going to get right behind Jalen. He's going to push him through that, right over center. There's no bullshit. There's no false stepping. It's straight down. You know where it's going. You know when it's coming, and teams can't stop it. We've seen it, the last 2 seasons. Every time they're within 1 or 2 yards, it's smoked me on so many Saquon touchdown scores because dude will run 80 yards down the field and get tackled on the goal line or step out of bounds, and then here comes Hurts straight up the middle. They're not going to be able to stop that. And, you talked about James Cook last week. Maybe – we were talking about it in the group chat. Maybe you stop doing that and you let the guy with the hot hand do. You had set it up time and time again where tush push, tush push, tush push. Why not? If Josh is going to take that false step, have him take that false step and pitch the ball. The Eagles are smart enough to do stuff like that, and they've faked that tush push before, and it's worked out for them. They'll hit you deep. They'll pitch it real quick around the edge. Like, these guys aren't going to just settle for doing the same thing if it's not working. This is, obviously it was too big of a game last week. You would think that the Bills would have stopped doing it. But the Eagles, they're smarter than that. And A, it's going to work out most of the time. And B, if it doesn't, they're going to figure out a way to make you think that they're going to keep doing it, but they're going to switch it up. And they're going to pick up, key first downs like what we saw last week when the Bills needed one.
I'm right there with you. And we know that Spags is going to do what he did against Josh Allen, right? They take a 2-minute warning or a timeout there. They give the Bills 3 minutes to pick a play call, and Spags was like, watch this, bro. And they went right at Josh Allen, and they gave him nothing, and they shut it down. Like, that's going to happen. So on the flip side, you got to think Philly's going to do some of that weird stuff, and they're going to test that defense from Kansas City. They've been here now. They've done this now. We all know that if you kind of draw up basic things, it's not going to work here. The only basic play they can run that's going to work is a Jalen Hurts 1-yard tush push up the middle. And if you can stop that, hey, more power to you. But like you said, all of a sudden you start selling out to that tush push, and Saquon's going to go, whoop, quick step to the left, and he's going to pitch that thing right before, and 80 yards. See ya.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's over. Like, you have to at least respect that you got Devontae on maybe the fake tush push, step back, hit Devontae on a quick slant. Like, you don't know. Like, they could do a lot of things here. So I'm right there with you on what you're saying. And once again, kudos to the Chiefs for shutting that tush push down, but this is a whole nother animal that they got to deal with here. So with all that said, guys, as you see on the screen here, this is written by our man Brandon Hooten on sportsforummedia.com. Got keys to the game right now. He's got Protect Patrick Mahomes. We're not going to take a ton of time to cover this article here, but I do want to touch on just the 2 keys that he has in this article. What's your thoughts on this one? To protect Patrick Mahomes, is this as big of a factor as you think Mr. Hooten is making it here?
Absolutely, man. As we just stated earlier, you got to protect him, but at the same time, you got to make sure that you are keeping lanes open. So when you are facing a lot of edge pressure, he does what he does best, and he can step up through that pressure and find lanes to run. These guys, obviously, I feel like the whole world knows if you can find a way to sack Patrick Mahomes, you find a way to start to I feel like it's every defensive coordinator's dream and all of the goal coming into the week, get pressure on this dude, make him uncomfortable. When you start to do that is when he's going to start to step up, and he's going to start to burn your ass. He's going to scamper, and he's going to get, he's gonna find a way. He's not the most athletic scrambler. I mean, you watch him and you're like, he kind of looks like he's wearing a diaper. If you ask me personally, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then he'll run for 8 yards on a 3rd and 7, and then he'll trot back to the huddle and do this bullshit.
Yep.
And you're like, damn, man, like everybody in the room is screaming, get him, get him, get him. And it's just so hard. So not only is it going to be important that the Chiefs protect him, but it's going to be important that they protect him in a way where, he can still find space within the interior line to get out and do what he does best and extend plays and run the ball.
And I love that Hoot in this article talked about it's more of a sack by committee thing than it is a one solo Max Crosby's the dude. Like, it's not that on this team. That's the other problem for Mahomes here is it's not like you can just key up, okay, there he's on the left side, I'll work to the right, I'll make an audible. No, like they can all get you here, dog. They got some safeties that got that nasty free safety blitz off the edge coming up. Like, you just don't know, dog. And so I'm right there with you. As good as Mahomes has been scrambling, he ain't faster than the linebackers or the safeties on this Eagles team. So I don't know. It's going to be a fun one for sure. But protecting Patrick Mahomes, the key here for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, on the other side, Eagles run the Chiefs into the ground. Obviously, Saquon been a monster this year. He put right here, Kansas City's given up 151.3 rushing yards per game over the last 3 games. 147 there to Buffalo in that AFC Championship game, which, as you guys know, once again, we believe that Saquon Barkley every single day and twice on Tuesday is a better running back than James Cook is. So at this point right here, you see James Cook averaging 6.5 yards per carry against the Chiefs on Sunday night. Saquon averaging 6.7 here in the postseason. Do you believe he can maintain 6.7 or more? Or do you think it's going to get a little tougher for him here in this matchup?
I think he can maintain, and I think it's gonna go back to, can you keep balance? Yes, we all know that Saquon is going to get the ball. He's going to touch the ball a lot. Now, if he gets stuffed a few times, don't get scared. Don't run away from it and start throwing the ball a whole bunch, and then all of a sudden you've abandoned the run game. You've thrown yourself into a couple 3-and-outs. The Chiefs are up 7. The Chiefs are up 10. Now you're in the, oh, shit. Now we have to air the ball out because we're trying to save clock and we're trying to claw our way back quickly. But you have Saquon Barkley, who, as we saw last week, the dude can touch the ball twice and produce 2 touchdowns for you with 90 yards. Don't scare yourself out of running the football and stay true to what you know has worked the whole season. It's a big game. Everybody wants to make adjustments quickly, and they want to do them before it can bite you. But when you have a running back that is a game changer week in and week out, this is what you guys went and got Saquon Barkley for, Philadelphia. You went and got him from New York for this reason exactly. Now you have a 2-headed monster in terms of the passing game. You have 2 wide receiver ones, and if you put these guys on any other team in the NFL, these guys are going to be wide receiver ones. So you have that, but use that as a back pocket option. Get Saquon his touches. He needs to, in my opinion, Saquon needs to run the ball 20 to 25 times in this game for them for them to stay competitive. And like I said, even if, you're coming out of halftime down a score, down 2 scores. I mean, if you're down 2 scores coming out of halftime, I think you still have to pound the rock. That's how you're going to wear down this pass rush too. And then you're going to start to see things open up. I mean, Hurts, he's starting to run the ball a lot better now that he's coming a few weeks off that concussion. When he was first coming off that concussion, he was, a little hesitant to run that ball. We saw it last week. He gets out of the pocket. He does just as well as Pat Mahomes in extending plays and finding green grass when he has to. But, man, pound the rock, make the D-line tired, get Karlaftis tired, get, Jones tired. Once those guys start to relax a little bit and their first step is back because they want to see what's going on with the run game, that's when you're going to have the time to air the ball out. And this Chiefs defense is susceptible to downfield shots. I mean, they really are. If you pay attention to the last few games that they've played, Trent McDuffie is a fantastic corner. but he has a tendency to get beat deep sometimes. He does. And they just got to stay true to it. They gotta trust the process. Don't rush yourself into passing situations. Try not to get down, obviously, to where you're facing so many, passing situations and feeling like you got to save clock. But we seen it last week. This dude Saquon's a problem. And if you can get the ball in his hands, he can break 80, 70, 60-yard runs. It doesn't have to be so. Stay balanced, but at the same time, do what's been working for you, man. Feed him the rock.
And I want to point out to everybody, in that last matchup there, what was it, February 12th, 2023, in that Super Bowl matchup there, Jalen Hurts in that game was the leading rusher for the Eagles in that game. He carried the ball 15 times for 70 yards, 3 tutties, by the way, 28-yard for his longest there. Kenneth Gainwell had 7, Miles Sanders had 7, and Boston Scott had 3 in that game. This is a whole new game script now, folks. So watch out, because Saquon Barkley, we just talked about it, 20 to 25 carries minimum in this game for Saquon Barkley. Then Jalen Hurts in that game, 27 for 38. One of his better throwing times in that game as well. If he can continue to be at that 75% completion percentage or higher, which obviously easier said than done, but if he can do that here, they're going to be okay, especially like you mentioned. If they get down 2 scores, yeah, they're going to throw the ball more, going to have to take care of the football, but some of those throws can be Saquon Barkley this far. Like, it doesn't have to be down the field for 30 yards all the freaking time. So with that said, in that matchup there, 38-35 Chiefs, Mahomes was only 21 for 27 in that game for 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So the last thing I want to throw out there for these keys to the games for me would be, and not even a key to the game, but like looking at it as an outside, like what would have to happen for the Chiefs to screw this up, is Mahomes has to start making mistakes. He's not making very many mistakes right now in the postseason, and he looks so damn good. And I love Jalen Hurts, but we've seen Saquon have a couple moments this year. We were like, oh, bro, like, great game, made one mistake, cost him the game. Jalen Hurts, great game, one mistake, cost him the game. Mahomes hasn't been doing that lately, so we'll see what happens here. But with all that said, guys, moving on through here, the entire Sports Forum team is dropping picks for you guys in this article. Once again, sportsforummedia.com. So we're going to go through these very, very quickly here. Now, Mr. Jalen Jackson, you let me know if you are writing or not writing these picks here. So Brandon Hooten going touchdown score, Jalen Hurts minus 105. I love that pick. Player prop, Saquon Barkley over 114.5 rushing yards. I will tell you, of these 2 plays, personally, I would go with the touchdown score.
Yes, agreed 100%. 114 yards is a lot. And just, talking about that tush push, if they get within the 3, the 5-yard line, it doesn't even have to be the tush push. I mean, this guy's obviously going to get looks on the goal line, but as we saw in the last Super Bowl, he's going to run. I mean, even if you have to end up throwing the ball in the red zone, outside the red zone, dude ran for 28 yards and scored last Super Bowl. So I like the minus 105 for a Hurts touchdown, but 114 is not a crazy line for Saquon, in my opinion, in this game. But if I had to pick one of the 2, I'd have to go Hurts.
All right, so we're locking in Jalen Hurts, but Jalen is saying, hey, player prop's not a bad one. I don't think it's a bad one either. I struggle to bet a dude against Kansas City to go for 115. If you think they're going to win, I don't blame you. But with that said, jumping on over to myself, I got Kareem Hunt for an anytime touchdown here, plus 150. I don't love Kareem Hunt, but I love these odds, and I like Kareem Hunt a hell of a lot more than I like Isaiah Pacheco. So give me Kareem Hunt here at plus 150. And then y'all already know I'm a kicker. I got to go with my specialist here. Spec Ops is in the building. Give me Jake Elliott over 1.5 field goals here at plus 120. Look, I thought about Harrison Butker. Both kickers in this game average 1.7 field goals per game, but Harrison Butker is minus money. Jake Elliott is plus money. Which of these 2 props do you like better?
I like them both. You want me to be so real with you? I like them both. But
appreciate it.
Yeah, I do, man. If I had to go with one of the other,
you only have $1 million for one bet. Which one
that's
you
all
put
I got. I'm going to put it on Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown. And that's only because I've seen him. I think we've seen him as the year has progressed, even when Pacheco came back from his injury. They like more of a big, but I mean, Pacheco run the ball hard. Don't get me wrong. That dude, we've seen the memes of how he runs and stomps all over people when he run the ball. I love the way he runs the football. You know, as a running back, it makes me excited. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of a big body, and can just push his way through tackles, through the guards, he can get vertical quickly. I think we've seen him turn more into the goal line back, even through the playoffs. He scored last week. I like Kareem Hunt, and it's better odds for your money. So I would take the Kareem Hunt touchdown.
There you go, guys. So far, once again, we're taking all these plays, but just to make you guys not have to put in 16 prop bets to start this thing off here, we're going to try to give you one of the two for each guy here. So we got Jalen Hurts touchdown so far. We got Kareem Hunt touchdown so far at plus 150. Moving on through here, Mr. Ian McClintock dropping DeAndre Hopkins at plus 475. For an anytime touchdown here. Saquon Barkley, he went with an alternate spread here on top of what Brandon Hooten did. He went Saquon for 130 plus in this game at plus 142. I ain't got to tell y'all twice here, brother. I'm sorry. I get it, Jalen. But I got to go DeAndre Hopkins here at plus 475. If I struggled for the 114.5, I can't get myself to the 130. But for the odds, I completely understand it.
Yep, I'm right there with you. 130 is a hell of a number, man. And the fact that it's only plus 142 for 130 rush yards.
It's only what? It's only 16 more yards, and the other one was minus 115.
Right. Yeah. So, it's crazy to think like they're really, I mean, the line's got to be set, right around 120, I'm guessing for or the line is 114 straight, isn't it?
114 straight. Yep.
Yeah. And shit, I mean, plus 142 for 16 more yards. It's all gonna depend, man. I mean, most of those
they're
yards,
winning,
that's
he
what
probably
it is.
gets it.
If they're winning, or they're in a spot to milk clock and they're looking to play it safe, then I would ride with 130. But I think 130 is just a tad steep. I'd ride 114, but you know how it goes. You ride 114 and then he run for 119 or you run for 124 and then he don't hit this 130. I like the DeAndre Hopkins play just because we've seen a lot more involvement from Worthy. Obviously, Travis is getting his touches. And I think this would be a great spot for a veteran wide receiver like D-Hop to get involved. This is going to be, one of the biggest game of that dude's career. I mean, this is what he's been looking to do for the past 15 years he's been in the league, 12 years he's been in the league. So it would be great to see him score. I mean, I feel like the kid in all of us would respect that. We've all grown up watching D-Hop play, and it would be nice to see him get his flowers. At plus 475, I think that's some great money too. So, yeah, I would pick – we're piling up the TD scores, but I like –
we got to be careful. Got to be careful on touchdowns for sure. And there's some good ones coming, so strap in. With that said here, guys, we are going to lock in DeAndre Hopkins at plus 475. Now, if you're betting one unit on all these plays, this is about a quarter unit bet for us here. This is a long shot bet. There's no reason to bet the same amount that you bet on Jalen Hurts to score for DeAndre to score. So go ahead and make it maybe a quarter to a half of whatever you're going to put on all those picks. Put that here on DeAndre Hopkins. Have a little bit of fun. God forbid he scores the first one at 40-1. Who knows? One deep ball could be D-Hop. Corner of the end zone from the 12-yard line. D-Hop. You just never know. So with that said, moving on through here, Bryson Owens dropping Patrick Mahomes at plus 450. Running the ball more lately. We've seen it. We talked about it already. On the other side, Samaje Perine coming in over 6.5 receiving yards. I'll tell you what, I was leaning towards Mahomes here, but like you mentioned, we're kind of piling up right now on these touchdown scores. So personally, seeing that this is one catch out the backfield, I'm going to go with Perine here at over 6.5.
Yeah, and the dude usually he was averaging I think it was 3 catches per game in the regular season, 2 to 3 catches per game. We saw him catch
Mhm.
one last week in the most pivotal point of the game. And the dude, Samaje P. Ryan getting old. But what I did do, I didn't understand how crazy good this man was in college. I had to look up the Samaje P. Ryan 400 and
Mhm.
some rushing yards game at Oklahoma. And I was like, this dude really has been doing this for a while. Like, Samaje P. Ryan earned my respect. And he did it a lot as a Denver Bronco, but he catches the
Mhm.
ball. If he catches the ball once, I think 6.5 is great. He catches the ball twice, he's going to blow 6.5 out the water. And I think
I
he
agree.
does that, talking about a very a tough pass rush and a defense that's not going to let you dink and dime a lot over the middle. I feel like with Zach Bond back there and, a really solid secondary that is good at forcing balls out of the middle and forcing more passes to the sideline. Even though you got Darius Slay over there, I mean, maybe you look the opposite way. But
Mhm.
Samaje, if he can catch 2 balls, I mean, everybody, I had essentially written him off for a catch last week. And then it came, when you're like, oh, they're going to run, they're going to run. Nope. Andy Reid, pulls the rabbit out the hat, gives it to Samaje. He rips off 15, 20 yards,
And
ices
that's
the
the
lead.
thing. That's the
Yep.
thing is I feel it's a Super Bowl, bro. Every single popular guy out there isn't going to be every touchdown, every player prop. They're not all going to hit. It's going to be half the dudes that, like you mentioned, like if it was the 49ers, Jazizik, whatever the fullback's name is, like it's always someone weird every single game. P. Ryan is one of those guys.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I would take P Ryan here. I'll
All right.
man, of course I like the P Mahomes touchdown. I do, but as you
Yeah.
were saying, stacking touchdown scores, and I like it, but I like P Ryan more. I think he gets involved more than people are thinking he does.
Yep, right there with you. All right, guys, we're locking in P. Ryan over 6.5 receiving yards here. Moving on through to your pick, my man, Mr. Jalen Jackson, dropping Xavier Worthy for an anytime touchdown here, plus 155. Absolutely love this, by the way. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there. Obviously, this guy right now, the speed back, if you would, I shouldn't say back, wrong word, the speed guy here for the Chiefs right now in that slot position, maybe even the 9 route kind of position here. Xavier Worthy plus 155. On the other side, you took Patrick Mahomes over on his rushing yards here in this game. In your opinion right now, Xavier Worthy at plus 155. I know it sounds juicy, but we just avoided the Patrick Mahomes touchdown. Do you think the rushing yards might be a better play here?
Yes, I think so. And Worthy, I feel like you like Worthy for a touchdown just because when these guys are looking for a jet sweep. We saw it last week. The Bills were able to stop it. They were inside the 10-yard line. Worthy got a jet sweep. Bills were looking for it. They motioned with him. It looked like they were playing man already. So they had a guy coming across with him, and it got stopped. But he's not, like you said, he's the 9 guy. He's your stretch the field guy right now with Rashee Rice being out. I mean, obviously you got Hollywood too, but Worthy has burn you speed. And that's why, I mean, I like him not only as he can catch deep balls, he is a very good screen receiver. He catches a lot of screens and is very good with run after the catch. And he's also good in jet sweep motions, getting quick, touch passes and finding a way to get the edge. So
Mm-hmm.
I like Worthy. If you're not going to go with any of the other touchdown scorers up top, I think he's great at plus 155, and there's a lot of ways that they try to get him the ball. But with that being said, that Mahomes over 28.5, it takes one. Like we've talked about it, we've seen it, we've all seen it. All it takes is one, especially if he's starting to get harassed. He's going to get hot feet, and he's going to start moving around. It takes, if he doesn't get it in one, on a 3rd and 8, he'll go and pick it up. On a 3rd and 9, he'll go pick it up. 3rd and 5, before you know it, he's racked up 4 or 5 first down scampers. He'll do it a couple times if he's under duress, and even on the goal line, we decided not to take him for the touchdown score, as you said, but it's 7 or 8 yards. I mean, he gets downhill. and he's just slippery. He doesn't look slippery, which pisses me off. I mean, he doesn't. You don't juke nobody.
It looks like me trying to juke somebody, bro, but it works.
I don't know. He runs, like he puts his chin down and he's waiting to get hit, but he just keeps going. He just keeps them going, man. And you got to respect it. Yep. He shuffles the puppies, and I think 28.5 is a gimme. Honestly, at 110, yeah, I'll take the yards all day.
I tell you what, in the last meeting, 38-35, which I would argue is higher scoring than this game here is going to be. In that game, Mahomes did not score a rushing touchdown, but he did carry the ball 6 times for 44 yards. Mm-hmm. So this prop's looking good to me, man, if you ask me. So as much as I like Xavier Worthy, we're already on Kareem Hunt. We're already on DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to go ahead here and rock with your Mahomes play on the over. 28.5 rushing yards. Good luck to you guys on that one. Now, Marshall Acosta coming in. Yes, there it is. I've been waiting for a tight end. You know I love my tight ends. Dallas Goedert coming in at plus 330. He also has a Xavier Worthy prop, though, so now we got to start thinking. Xavier Worthy, 100-plus rushing and receiving yards at plus 320. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, Marshall Acosta got balls, bro. I'm just going to call it what it is, dog, because he might not rush the ball one time. So the big question is, can he get to 100 receiving yards in this game?
It's going to be – look, if you're really thinking about it, Xavier Worthy is a threat because of what he does after the catch. In my opinion, that is his greatest quality as a speed receiver. Yes, he can extend the field, but we don't see the Chiefs take as many down the shot fields or down the field shots with Worthy as we did with, say, Tyreek Hill. I don't think we see them throw the ball downfield as much as we saw him do it with Rashee Rice. At the end of the day, this guy is still a rookie. I mean, you can take that for what you will. I mean, at the end of the day, if he is finding a way to get the ball in space, that's when he's dangerous. 100 yards seems just a tad steep for me, though. I would maybe, for a cap, I'd maybe put him around 70 or 80. I think for him to get –
Well, here's what's interesting. Yeah. Against the Bills, he ran twice for 16 yards, and he caught the ball 6 times for 85 yards for 101.
Right. Just barely got over. And that's a lot of usage for him. Like, yes.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Yes. I don't think he's going to repeat that. So
yeah, I don't either. I don't see him even if he runs the ball, he's going to have to touch the ball, in my opinion, 10 times to get 100 yards, and I don't see him touching the ball 10 times in this game.
Yeah. All right, so then we cool to rock Dallas Goedert. I like Dallas Goedert. I don't really have to overthink that one. I feel bad that we kind of have now faded to Worthy props, but just a reminder, folks, we're taking all these props. We're just giving you the better one. So I'm going to rock with Dallas Goedert here at plus 330, and it happens to be a little bit better odds than Xavier Worthy. And I think if you ask me right now, Riggs, which of these two is more likely, it's Dallas Goedert.
Yes, I agree. 100%. Goedert.
Marshall Acosta dropping a plus 330 for you guys there. Dallas Goedert anytime. Moving on through here. We got 2 more for you. Joe Palmer coming in, dropping a Saquon Barkley touchdown. This is going to be a hard one to not take, my brother. And he's also taking Saquon. Help me out here, Jalen. 12.5 receiving yards?
Give me all that. Give me all that. 12
Hang on. I'm going to go check the line and make sure that ain't wrong, bro, because what?
Yeah, that feels very, very low. I mean, it take one
How's
screen.
That possible, bro? That's one play.
The screen game, I mean, these guys love to run screen passes, and that's if they're not checking down. I mean, design passes to Saquon, you're seeing that often.
Yo, he's averaging 16.5 this year. It's at 12.5. Let's start there. We might have to juice this up a little bit here, brother. 25 plus rushing yards plus 235. Or receiving yards.
25 plus 225.
235 for 25 yards.
Oh, I smack it.
Bro, what? on, go 50.
You got to think about, I mean, the pass rush, dude.
What in the world?
Check downs and designed throws to this guy. I mean, I put him for 30.
50 plus 1,000.
I don't even think that's crazy.
I don't either. Okay, but the big question is, of the ones right here, as much as I love the touchdown, and I don't blame anybody for putting these two together right here and making a little parlay, I think it's almost impossible to leave 12.5 receiving yards on the board at minus 110.
Yes, completely agreed. I mean, minus 110, you got to think about the opponent here, man. I mean, when I see Chris Jones in my face, when I see George Karlaftis in my face, and I got a 6-yard throw like we were talking about earlier, it doesn't have to be – you don't have to throw it all the way down the field. I see Saquon in front of me. The man hurdled somebody backwards, folks. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was a pass play. You know what I'm saying? He can make stuff happen in the passing game. 12.5, that's a steal. I mean, juice that boy up. Throw it up to 25. Throw it to 35, 40. Like, I can see it happening. Three catches, too.
I might have to ladder that one. If you guys don't know what a ladder is, it's where you take every single prop. So you could go 12.5, 25, 40, 50, 60. You could bet all of them, and you only have to pretty much hit the bottom two ladders, and you pay for everything. If you hit anything more than that, you make a shitload of money. Now, you are risking like 5 bets in one, but me personally, if Saquon Barkley don't get 13 receiving yards, my brother, I don't think they're going to win this game. I mean, straight up, like that's like he's not being used in the passing game if he doesn't do anything. So, hey, whatever, guys. Once again, he's averaging 16.5. So at least the 12.5. If you don't want to try the 25 or the 40, don't. But the 12.5 is the pick here for us. Good luck to you guys on that one. Thank you, Mr. Joe Palmer. And finally, Antonio Corral got Juju Smith-Schuster. By the way, I missed this guy on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but whatever. Juju Smith-Schuster coming in the same odds as DeAndre Hopkins here at plus 475. His prop, one of my favorite props that I've ever seen, and I love taking this prop in really good matchups. It says either. It should say neither. Neither team to score 3 times unanswered. We put no. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, it is right. Either team to score 3 times unanswered, no, at plus 125. The yes right now is minus 190, which I just find to be absolutely crazy. If someone scores 3 times unanswered, they're going to win this game. So me personally, it's 2 very capable running backs, quarterbacks, kickers, defenses. This should be a slam here at the no at plus 125. But anyway, you're going to go the other way, and you're going to take Juju.
No, I mean, in my opinion, Juju is the 4th to 5th option to score a touchdown. At plus 475, I don't hate it. If I was going to take it, I'd sprinkle just a little tad on there. But
you like it more than DeAndre?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
No, yeah. I would take DeAndre before I took Juju. And I got some personal love for the either team to score 3 times unanswered. This was the very first prop that I took here. When I got with the sports forum, it smacked. I was like, you know what? The fact that I had never really paid attention to stuff like that. I was looking all in the extras, and I was like, what can be something that is not so looked at and, but still has good odds. And when I saw that one, I was like, I like that. I bet it a couple times since then. It's hit for me more often than not. In a Super Bowl game, the only way that I can maybe see something like this happening is you score a touchdown, okay, you get the ball back, and this could be either team. I'm not even going to tell you this is going to be the Chiefs, this is going to be the Eagles. Either team scores a touchdown, okay, you get a stop before the half. I think it has to be a halftime. That's where you're going to see this. These guys are going to score. You go and get a field goal before the half, okay, you're receiving the ball out of half. You go and score again. That's the only chance I see something like this. But even
then, that's still like a 13-point swing. Like, I just don't know if we're going to see a swing like that in this game. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. But and I do agree with you, by the way. The halftime buffer kind of has to be it. Otherwise, this game finna be 17-0 before we know it, which I just don't see how that happens. And late in the game, you wouldn't think there's anybody in the fourth quarter that's going to score 3 times unanswered. So,
Yeah, I'm taking that. I'm taking that all day.
All right, man. Well, there you go, guys. So really quickly, once again, we got a bunch of different props here for you, but just to remind everybody, the favorite props we have for each guy: Antonio Corral, we're taking either team to score 3 times unanswered. No. Joe Palmer, we're going to go Saquon Barkley over 12.5 receiving yards. Marshall DaCosta, we're going Dallas Goedert at plus 330. Jalen Jackson, we're going Patrick Mahomes over 28.5. Bryson Owens, we're going Samaje Perine over 6.5 receiving yards. Ian McClintock, we're going DeAndre Hopkins here at plus 475 for an anytime touchdown. Myself, we're going Kareem Hunt at plus 150. And then Mr. Brandon Hooten, the writer of this article here, we are going with Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown scorer. Once again, guys, make sure to check out sports4media.com to read a lot more thoroughly through that article. We're also going to have Mr. Jalen Jackson dropping a who will win the Super Bowl article. Every single guy that you see on this article has dropped a prediction for the exact score in this game. So everybody dropping their favorite score bets. You guys got to come on through and go ahead and pick whichever one you think makes sense for you. That'll be up here in about the next 48 hours for you on sports4media.com. So make sure to check that out. And then Brandon Hooten also going to drop one more article for you guys on the Super Bowl MVP and who's going to take down that MVP award as well. So a lot of stuff for you there. If you like every other sport, we got all sports covered for you. But right now, obviously, we are pretty darn focused on Super Bowl 59 here at the moment. Mr. Jalen Jackson, once again, brother, we can't give any sneak peeks to who's going to win, but is there anything else prop-wise or anything else right now early prediction-wise that you want to throw out there?
There was one I was looking at that I almost picked instead of my Xavier Worthy touchdown. I always had to go with the touchdown scorer, you know. Mm-hmm. But if I was to pick something that wasn't a touchdown, I'm liking Hurts to throw a pick. Just one. Don't have to be two. Just a pick. Okay. I can see him getting plus a little antsy back there. What's that?
Is that plus money?
No, it's minus money. Which is the only thing that makes me a little hesitant, and that's why I decided, you know what, if I'm going to place, I want something that's going to give me at least close to you know, even plus 100 odds. So I decided not to go with that. But if you're going to take a turnover, I would put it on Hurts. I wouldn't go Mahomes, like you said. He's being very thorough with his ball placement, and he's not making a lot of mistakes. But I could see Jalen Hurts throwing another pick, just like he did in the last one.
You already know I like that. I want to go Mahomes so bad, bro, because I feel like there's got to be a moment in this game that gets Mahomes off his game. Because if you let him go out here and just do what he's doing, bro, we finna see. You gotta fight for your right. I can't watch it again, bro. I can't watch this shit again, dog. Like, someone's got to go out here and shake this thing up, man. And if you're not going to murder the guy once he's 2 yards out of bounds and take a really bad personal foul, then you got to pick him off, or you got to do something to screw with his rhythm. So I want to go Mahomes, but I agree with you. I love Jalen Hurts. We talked about it. He threw really well last time. 3 touchdowns, we said. Didn't make any, no interceptions. Didn't make any big mistakes. But if someone's going to throw a pick, it's Jalen Hurts in this game. Yep. So with that said, if I was to throw anything else out there, guys, I'm not going to give you my score prediction of who's going to win. So stay tuned for that clip. But with that said, I love under game props. You can pick either team. Eagles to win by 1-6, Chiefs to win by 1-6, plus 375 and plus 350. I don't think someone's winning this game by more than 6 points, personally. So to me, whichever team you think's going to win, instead of laying Chiefs minus 135, take the Chiefs by 1-6 at plus 350. Just my own personal thoughts here. If you want to be a little safer, you can do by 1 to 13 points, still plus money. So whatever. More power to you. But all right, Mr. Jalen Jackson, let's get up out of here. We appreciate you guys. Super Bowl 59, about 10 days away at this point. Stay tuned for that MVP article, MVP clip, as well as the score predictions and score prediction article as well. Riggs Tamburo, Jalen Jackson, appreciate you guys. Don't bet anything you can't afford to lose. And we'll see you guys in the next one.